All right, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I'm so excited. Unbox is back. The last time we had Unbox was during the 21 days one thing series. I really want to welcome you guys. The beloved, how are you doing? Good evening. I hope the weather over there is good. It's raining really heavy over here. Good evening. We had to start on time this evening so that we will keep to time. We'll be here for 1 hour. So we don't want to exceed 1 hour. We are starting exactly 8:30 p.m. and by 9:30 p.m. we will be wrapping up. I'm so excited that Unbox is back on Twitter Spaces again. How has it been? If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up, give me a high five, give me any emoji, any high spirited emoji so that, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means you can hear me loud and clear. All right. So our speaker will be joining us from exactly 8:30 p.m. and we'll be kicking off the moment he comes up. All right. So before he joins us, oh, Mohammed, welcome. Good evening to you. Good afternoon. Good morning. Wherever you are joining us from, thank you for being here tonight. It's been a while, for like 6 months plus now. We've not had a meeting here, but as from this month, we'll be hosting two spaces every month. All right, two spaces every month as from this month of June. So today happens to be the first Twitter space session here. Thank you guys for joining us. As from exactly 8:30, our speaker will be with us. So before he comes up, one thing I will really encourage us to do tonight is that we should share this space with our audience. All right, share it with your WhatsApp audience. Share the link with them. Share the link with your Telegram audience. Share it anywhere you have audience so that they can be a part of this life changing session tonight. All right. Uh, Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Let people know we are live. We are just 2 minutes from when we'll be kicking off. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys. So we are hosting one of one of the best of the best in the industry, the best of the best. I can tell you, the best of the best. All right, just a minute, just a minute. Trying to put one or two things together before we kick off. It's been a long time since we came here for a meeting as this, and I must confess, I miss you guys. I miss this community. I missed everyone. I really missed you guys. Um, Another thing you are going to do for me, please try all our past sessions. Oh, welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. We celebrate you. Welcome. Good evening to you. Okay, sir. I just sent you an invite to speak. Good evening to you, sir. I just sent an invite again now. If okay, okay. Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much. You know, I will always count it a privilege to have you anytime, any day to come speak to us. Thank you so much. This is a huge privilege. I will never take it for granted. I will never. I look forward to that day that I'm going to meet with you really one on one. I'll come over to Abuja to really meet with you. Good evening, sir. Welcome on board. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, how you doing, Donald? Hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir. We can hear you clearly. Good evening to you, sir.
All right, good evening, good evening. It's great to be here. Always good to be on this platform. I think we've missed Unbox for a while now, and it's good to
Yes, for
have
more
you
than
back
six
again.
months now.
Yeah. But it's good. It's good. It's good to see you back again, and it's great to be here.
Thank you, sir. Welcome, sir. How's the
All right, no
family?
problem. Everyone is doing fine. Thank you.
All right. Welcome. So, Tech Bro, I want to welcome you. Thank you, guys. I really missed you guys. For 6 months plus now, we've not been on this space. Um, I miss this community. I can tell you since when I was done with my wedding and all that, all the running around. I just had to just put everything on hold for first. But like I said, as from this month, we'll be having two space sessions every month, two space sessions every month, 2 Sundays in a month, so that we can keep this community alive and moving. So, without wasting our time, tonight we're talking about the next step. All right, this space or this session is actually for someone out there who is lost, who has lost touch uh, with himself. You've lost touch with um, your vision. You've lost touch with your dreams. All right, you are trying to figure out a lot of things. You are trying to put a lot of things together, but it seems that these things they are not working. All right, and one thing this space is going to do for you tonight, this meeting is going to do for you tonight, is that it's going to help you to find that that missing dot, that missing dot you've been looking for to connect yourself to. All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I celebrate you all. Welcome, welcome, guys. This meeting is going to help you find that missing dot that you've been looking for, that link that you've been looking for. That's one thing this meeting is going to help you find. All right. So we are talking about how you can rediscover your purpose, how you can recapture your vision, how you can re-engineer your vision, hey, how you can re-strategize. All right. How you can see the next step. All right, on the stairs. How can you move from where you are now to where you are supposed to be? Maybe currently you are on point B, you want to move to point C. How can you do this? This is one thing this space will help you to achieve. All right, so I'll be bringing our speaker on board tonight so that we have some questions for him. But before then, I would like you, sir, to talk about purpose, talk about vision and passion. What is actually purpose? What is passion? And what vision is all about, sir? Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks a lot for having me once again. It's great to be here. It's always good to be on this platform. I think I'm not even sure. I think this is like the third or fourth time I'm being here, but it's always good because I feel comfortable talking um, with creatives, designers, and I always like the subject matters that you bring up. And today we're going to be talking about rediscovering purpose. And in doing this, we are going to be answering some. I'm going to be trying to answer some questions, and I say trying because I want to say upfront here that I don't have all the answers. I might not even have the answers, but what I would try to share with you here is as far as I know for now, and I stand to be corrected on whatever it is I say. It's basically my opinion, and it's open to change. You understand? So sometimes I go talking at some places, and someone will say, "Oh, you said this 2 years ago," and it always amazes me how people feel like what I said 2 years ago cannot change 2 years after, because as a matter of fact, if you are somebody who doesn't change their mind on stuff, In 2 years, 3 years, it shows that you really aren't growing in knowledge. Something should be is either you overhaul some things or you modify or add to some things. So today I'm not going to be sharing with you as far as I know, as far as I think on this subject matter called purpose. And I'm going to be talking about three things: purpose, passion, and vision. Purpose, passion, and vision. These things are buzzwords that we use in today's society a lot. Purpose, passion, vision. You understand? It's so popular right now, and it has become so popular to the point where it has lost meaning. It doesn't have any meaning anymore. And what I'm going to try to do tonight is for us to go back to it being meaningful. Those three words, because it's very essential. And I'll try my best to explain what I feel purpose is. And I'll start with purpose. Purpose in itself is that thing that you were made to do for the good of others. That's how I define purpose. That's how I understand it. Purpose is that thing that you were made to do for the good of others. And this subject matter we're going to talk about here, I'm going to be very honest with you guys. It's very, very hard to talk about what I'm going to talk about here without talking about God. We cannot remove God from this, from purpose, um, from passion, and from vision. And I will explain to you why the God factor is very important. Because when I say purpose is that which you were made to do, mainly for the good of others, um, the question now is who made you to do it? And that's why we cannot remove God. If you do not answer the question of who made you to do what, then the discussion is going to be very arbitrary and it's not going to make any sense. You understand? So, it's that thing that God made you to do mainly for the good of others. And where a lot of people miss out on purpose is that last thing I've said, for the good of others. A lot of people are trying to find purpose for their own good. And nothing, if anything at all, I don't think very few things, if anything at all, was made for its own good. So you see, everything around nature, nothing was made for its own good. So when you look at the sun doesn't shine on itself. When you look at um, the wind doesn't blow on itself. When you look at rain, it doesn't rain on itself. When you look at even animals, when you look at animals, the chicken doesn't lay the egg that we eat for itself. It's not part of its diet. The cow doesn't give milk for itself. The orange tree doesn't produce orange for itself. Very few things in life find their purpose in something that works for them. It works for something else. So our purpose is more of a giving than it is a taking. So purpose basically is that thing that you were made to do for the good of others. So in your purpose, there is one person that is minus in terms of gaining from what you do, and that person is you. You are the last and even the least, if you are the least, if at all, to gain from your own purpose. And this is where people struggle with purpose, because when they look at that equation of what they should be doing, they don't see themselves. And because they don't see themselves, it doesn't make sense. But you are not in your purpose. That's the funny thing. So people are trying to find themselves in their purpose, but you are not there. It's for other people. It's for other people. It's a giving. So that's purpose. What God made you to do mainly for the good of others, if not solely for the good of others. Passion. Passion is another buzzword, and I'll try to define what passion is to me, my understanding. Passion is that energy that makes it easy for you to do that thing that you've been made to do. So, passion is an energy, is an enablement within you to easily do that thing, that's your purpose. passion. Is that energy? Is an energy, is a desire to easily do, it's an enablement to easily do that thing that you were made to do for the good of others. So, from what I've said, passion is something that makes it easy for you to do. So, if you were made to sing, to bring joy to others, singing would not be hard for you. If you are made to write for the good of others, writing will flow easily from you. It wouldn't be hard for you. And this is where I tell people, you see, a lot of people say they are passionate about stuff. If you are passionate about something and that thing is hard for you to do, it doesn't flow easily, then you might start questioning whether that is a true passion. Because a lot of people, what they have is a covetousness. And what covetousness means is they see somebody else doing something, they like how that person is doing it, and they wish they could do it that way. And they wish it so much that they think about it every time, and it now becomes a pseudo passion for them to do it. And they start trying to do it, but then you see that they're struggling, they're not doing so well. I'll give an example here. When I was young, I tell people I have two sisters. I'm the middle child. I have an older sister and a younger sister. My younger sister and I, 2 years in between us, when we're young, we're pretty close. We like did everything, played together and stuff like that. And I used to like to draw. Drawing for me was easy. I'd never learned how to draw. I only tuned up how to draw, but drawing for me came naturally. I just knew, my wrist knew how to draw lines and curves, and I had a memory that allowed me to remember how things were. My sister, on the other hand, who was very close to me, my younger sister, she was my playmate, you understand? And we used to play together, so everything. So when it came to drawing, by association, she wanted to be drawing too. But then it was hard for her. So she had the passion to draw by virtue of the fact that me, her older brother, and a close friend at that point in time was drawing. So we used to draw together, but my drawing was always very good, and hers was always very not so good. Not good. Do you understand? Hers was just very stick figure, and mine was always. So every time we showed our drawings to people, people will always give comments on my drawing. Oh, yours is so nice. Oh, that's so good. And then they just tell her, oh, okay, not bad, just to encourage her. But it wasn't good. And even though she was doing it every day like me, it was hard for her. So it was a pseudo passion. It wasn't a real passion because she didn't have that energy to make it easy for her to do that drawing. So passion is an energy that makes it easy for you to do your purpose. So if you're here today, I meet so many people, especially in design industry, so many people that are designers. I can see through it that they are not true designers. It's not their purpose, because that passion that they have is just because they've seen design and they just like it and just feel like, if oh, I just want to do this thing too.
Mm.
I've seen so many people do it, but when they are doing it, you realize that they are struggling. I come back to them 2 years later, they are even worse than what I met them 2 years before. But that person has true passion. When you see them doing it, you're like, oh, this guy is good. When you come back 2 weeks later, he's even better. 1 year later, he's incredible. You understand? Because that passion is true passion. They have a true enablement and energy to make it easy for them to do their purpose. Now, vision. Vision, the last thing, is a glimpse. Is a glimpse that God shows you from time to time of where you are going. It's like a photo, a picture that God allows you to see of where you are going. You see it. You can get a glimpse. It's just a picture in your mind that you see. You didn't put it there, but it just comes to you. It's a picture of you, and it can be a picture of anything. It can be a picture of you working in an office. It might be a picture of you speaking to a crowd. It might be a picture of you with a family. It's just there. Do you understand? A picture of you, like I have a son. He's like me. You understand? He draws, and he draws easily. Yesterday I was even telling him, how do you manage to draw these comics? And he just says, Daddy, I don't know. I just do it.
Mm.
It's his passion. He knows how to do it. And some days just say, Daddy, one day I'm going to have a comic, and the comic is going to go all around the world and stuff like that. And I'm like, where did he get this thing? Just say, I just see it in my mind. You understand? That's the vision he has. You understand? The vision he has of where he's going is a glimpse. So right now I'm trying to keep some of his drawings because he's starting to catch a vision. And when that vision comes to fruition, I can show where he's coming from. But he's beginning to get glimpses. So passion is what you're meant to do. Purpose is what you're meant to do for the good of others. Passion is that enablement to do it easily, and vision is the end picture that you get from time to time. Now, all these things come from God, and so without God, you cannot know how to do any of these things. You can't know how to find purpose. You can't know what your true passion is, and you definitely cannot have vision. And so when you remove God from the matter, all these things will become corrupted. And this is what I see a lot today. I see a lot of young people that are trying to find purpose without God, independent of God.
Mm.
They are trying to find their passion independent of God, and trying to see a vision independent of God. And I'll tell you what happens when you try to do these things independent of God. You see, God has become a very politically incorrect thing to say. So people will say, if you're coming and just don't say God, I don't do that. You understand? I don't do that anymore. I just try to just tell you the truth as much as I believe it to be my truth. Now, when you try to do passion or purpose without God, it will become corrupted. And it becomes corrupted to something lower, not something ugly. A lot of people feel like when something becomes corrupted, it has to become ugly. No, it doesn't become ugly, it just becomes lower. It goes a step lower, a few steps lower. So when you try to find purpose without God, it becomes corrupted, and it becomes something called ambition. So purpose in its corrupted form, when you take God out of it, it becomes ambition. And what is ambition? Ambition now becomes what you want to do for the good of yourself. That's ambition. So you now want to, it's now not God telling you what you want to, what you ought to do. It's now you telling yourself, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a graphic designer. I want to be on the Forbes list. That now becomes what you want to do for the good of yourself. Sometimes you garnish it with the good of others, but then you must get something out of it. So you see, there's this thing, this 5 letter word that corrupts a lot of things. So a lot of times when we take God out of it, we replace it with this 5 letter word, and that word is called money. Money is always what we replace that void that God is meant to take. So when you take God out of it and you now put money, when money now becomes your driving force, you now say, what do I want to do so that I can make money? And that now becomes not purpose anymore, it becomes your ambition. You understand? So ambition is not a bad thing, it's just a lesser thing. It's not bad, it's just less. Just like how you have some products. So it's just like you have Kellogg's and you have Nasco. When you eat Kellogg's, it's good. You understand? It's incredible because the way they do their own cornflakes, if you eat Kellogg's that is made in the UK, is different from Nasco cornflakes that is made in KD, in Kaduna. You understand? It's different. When you chew it, it's different. But Nasco is not bad. It's not just as good as Kellogg's. You understand? So that's how ambition is too. Ambition is the lower form of purpose that people settle for because they do not want God anymore in their life. They become their own God. And now it now becomes them chasing after a reward, which is money a lot of times. It's not always money, but money a lot of times. So when you now put money in place of God, your purpose now becomes ambition. It falls to the level of ambition. And so you become the center of what you want to do, not for the good of others, but for your own good. What it does for me, for me and my family. And a lot of times, you see that even in Christianity, we say it a lot. As for me and my family, it's just for you and your family. You understand? It's so small. The impact is so small. You understand? The consequences of it is so small. It only reflects on you and those that are immediately around you. But purpose is much bigger. It's for other people. You understand? It's for other people, minus you. You understand? Minus you. And when you take the God factor out of passion, out of that thing called passion, that is that ease, that energy that makes it easy for you to do your purpose, When you take God out of it, what you have is passion will become corrupted, and then it will now drop to something called hustle. That's what it drops to. So passion without God becomes hustle. And what that means is, you see, hustle doesn't sound so bad, because a lot of people are saying, I mean, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler. But it is a lower, it is the NASCO to Kellogg's. Do you understand? It's the NASCO. It's not as good as. And what that means is you can be a hustler, but what that means is now you are now trying very hard. It's not easy anymore. You are trying very hard to express something. You are trying, you're not sleeping. You're not sleeping, you're falling sick, you are breaking relationships because you want to follow something that you think is your passion. So you are doing your passion at a loss. Do you understand? That's called a hustle. When it even gets worse than that, it's called a grind. Do you understand? It's called a grind. Do you know what a grind is? It means it's hard, it's fiction, it's breaking stuff. A lot of people are satisfied with that life. But the problem is that life is very destructive to you. So when you take God out of it, that thing that God has given you naturally, you now say, I don't want it, I want what I want. So God has made you a dancer, but you're saying, I want to be a singer and I'm going to sing by force. So forget this dancing thing. And then you try to go and sing, and you're now trying to sing. So you might get to sing, but you only sing after so much stress. Do you understand? You see so many people that do it in the music industry. It's very, very. I see a lot of people in the music industry. Some people, God has given them the gift of production, but then they look at artists and are like, this artist, see the artists have all the fans, they get to travel, they get all the endorsement. I don't want to be a producer anymore. I want to be a singer. Then they put all their energy into it, and then they become mediocre singers. And then they keep looking at the artist that is meant to be a that is just flowing. You understand that those guys are writing songs easily, but then they try their best, but they only just get just a little bit. They now become hustlers in that industry. So when you abandon what God gives you as a natural ability, and you take on what you want, you begin to hustle it. Look, I do design. I've done design for a while now. I do design easily. I tell people it's not hard for me. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard. I've never told you to design hard. It's not hard. I do it. It's second nature. Second nature. It doesn't stress me. It's like play. Work and play, they mix together for me. You understand? It's like play. I do it. And when I started doing design, I was thinking, someone is paying me to do something I love so much. How? I think for me it's easy. When I speak, it's easy. I'm speaking to you guys right now. I don't have anything written down. Nothing written down. And I can do this for 5, 6 hours. It's me. But some people, they will cram everything they have to say because they have to be speakers. Do you understand? And then they'll cram it, and then if they go off, they lose their train of thought, their thought. That doesn't happen to me because it is my passion. It's the ability I have to do it easily. You understand? So you must know what God has given you, and you must own it without being covetous of someone else's own. Because when you're covetous of someone else's own, you begin to hustle it. And you might get it, but you get it after losing and breaking some things. So passion in the abused, corrupted form drops to hustle. Vision. Vision, when you remove God out of it, when it's not God showing you the picture anymore, you now begin to paint a picture in your own head. So vision in its corrupt form drops to fantasy. And that's what a lot of people have. A lot of people that say they have vision, it's fantasy they have. It makes me laugh a lot. It makes me laugh, and it's laughing in a sad way because it's it's funny what people call vision now. So when you tell someone, they show you their vision board, what do you see there? You see mansion, pool, cars, jeeps, private jets. You understand? You see their fantasies. It's their fantasies. It's not a vision. It's not godly vision. And I'm not saying a pool, a car, God can't put that in your head, but what's the difference between a fantasy and a vision? Mm. A fantasy is something that you paint in your head based on an external influence. So you can only fantasize about stuff you know. but you can have visions about stuff you don't know. So you see, a lot of people fantasize and they call it a vision. So the only reason why they see their vision board and you see AMG Mercedes Benz there is because they saw it somewhere and that thing influenced their thoughts and their feelings and their emotion. So it now becomes a fantasy to own it one day. And people that how you can know someone has fantasy is because fantasy always gets edited depending on what is the trend. So you show them that they show you their vision board today. You see a Mercedes Benz there, whatever the class is. But when that Mercedes Benz goes out of fashion, let them show you their vision board 5 years later. It has changed. Do you understand? So it's not a vision, it's a fantasy. And fantasy goes with trend. So if I fantasize about Nikes now, Pandas, you understand? And I say, oh, that's my fantasy. In 5 years' time, when Nike Pandas are not as popular anymore, I have to go back and edit. So it's not a vision. A vision is more stable because it's not based on an external experience. It's based on a spiritual experience, which is stable. It doesn't change. You understand? So when you have a vision without God drops to the level of fantasy, which is what a lot of people have. They are just merely fantasizing. You understand? So when they when they're in a profession, what do they see as their vision? They see themselves doing grand things, winning awards, winning that, you know. So you see, even for me, there was a time in my career I lost my way, and my vision started turning into a fantasy. So my vision started being, oh, I want to be on CNN. I want to be on Time magazine. And then when Time magazine was no longer the go-to magazine, I changed it from Time magazine to Wired magazine. Then when Wired magazine went out of, I changed it from Wired to Forbes magazine. You understand what I'm saying? See, it was a fantasy. It was a fantasy. There was a time I said, oh, I want to win future awards. And then when I became too old for future award, and now change it to another award. And now change to AD and D awards. You see, those are fantasies we have. We need, but fantasies are not bad. But as I said, they are the NASCO to the Kellogg's. You understand? What is stable is a vision. It's a vision. You understand? So when I have a vision right now of talking to young people, you see, there is no trend that can top that. That can be stable of impacting young people and giving them hope. That is deeper than saying I want to win one award. I want to be interviewed on this. That will always change. You understand? So what I'm trying to tell you is that there is no passion, no purpose, no vision without God. Once you take God out of those things will fall to their weaker form. They will change from being their strongest form to their weaker form. So purpose will just change and drop into ambition, which is stressful. Passion will drop into hustle, which is strenuous. And vision in itself will just drop into fantasy, which is tormenting at the end of the day. So that's what I want to start by saying. I don't want to take too much time talking about it, but I just want to lay a ground note on that so that we can go into answering questions.
Thank you so much, sir. I hope you guys can hear me. Um, what you have done tonight is what I will call factory reset. Uh, One thing I've come to understand about life is that you can be skillful but not really making mark, because the real issues of life, they are internal. They are not things that are external. Uh, One thing you said that just struck me tonight is, when purpose becomes corrupted, it becomes a personal ambition. It becomes an ambition. Before I will ask my first question, uh, one thing I always check out for when I'm going after anything is what I call the peace check. Once I start running after anything and I notice I'm losing peace, at that point I know that, guy, you have to just slow down here. There is something that is missing here. Because I've come to discover from what you have also said that whenever we pursue things that are not in our purpose, we are going to give up something else in exchange for that thing. And most times, what we will lose will be more than what we are actually pursuing. So, you spoke about passion, spoke about vision, you spoke about purpose. My first question is this: for someone who has discovered purpose, because we are talking about rediscovering purpose, for someone who has actually discovered purpose, but the person has lost touch with himself, lost touch with his purpose, lost touch with his vision and passion. Because once you lose passion, that means the fuel, like you said, passion is that energy, that fuel you need to keep going so that you can achieve your vision. For someone who has lost passion, lost the grip on his vision and purpose, how can this person reconnect himself back to his purpose and vision? How can this person reconnect back? Because one thing I've discovered, it has happened to me. Once you lose touch with your vision, lose touch with your purpose and your passion, you start living your fears instead of living your dreams. I've been in that shoe before, where I started living out my fears, especially when I thought about how fast I was growing in age. Fear actually came in, doubts came in, like a lot of negative things were started going on in my mind. So for someone who has lost touch with his or herself, how can this person rediscover purpose again? So that's the question, sir.
All right, that's a good question. How do you find purpose again if you've lost it or if you've never had it? You understand? So there are two scenarios. Some people have never even had it before and they just want to connect with it. Some people feel like they've had it, but they lost it along the way. At a point in time, the truth of the matter is that we've all had it. You understand? Because every single child, what we see as purpose, a lot of times we see purpose as if a um as an ultimate thing to be done. You understand? So we see it as something we ought to do and ultimately with our lives. But purpose doesn't have to be that. Purpose can be in in not too distant future. So there is a purpose for the day. Do you understand? And that's what we must know. A lot of people think of purpose for our lives, but we forget that our lives is made up of minutes, hours, days, months, and stuff like that. So we think at the end of our life, no, but there's a purpose for this minute. There's a purpose for this hour. There's a purpose for the day. And I think those are more important than trying to figure out purpose for your life. So we take on that Herculean task of trying to find a purpose for our lives. But your purpose of your life is the sum of all the purpose of all your days. Do you understand? So your purpose is not something you ultimately do. It is something you daily do in small bits that has an ultimate impact. Do you understand? So when you say someone that's lost their purpose and trying to reconnect with it, number one, that person needs to find must take baby steps and realize that it is not in reconnecting with your life's purpose, it is in reconnecting with your day's purpose. That's always the best thing. And that's the approach I take to it. I realize that it's more important to find what am I meant to do today for the good of others. Not what am I meant to do when all my life is done. No, because I never know when all my life will be done. You understand? So what am I meant to do today for the good of others? For me, waking up today, I was looking forward to this session. I realized it was what I was meant to do today for the good of others, minus me. You understand? So for me, today, I've had bits of what I felt was my purpose met. This is one of the last ones, to end the day. Some of them were for my children, some of them were for strangers, some of them were, you understand? But this one, I looked forward to it. It was purpose for today. How it's going to add up at the end of my life, I don't know. You understand? But I'm being obedient in the now to do what I'm meant to do now. So, you were saying something about if you don't live your purpose, you live your fears. That is so true. But one thing you must understand is that fear is learned. Fear is learned. It's not inherent. Fear is not inherent. Fear is learned. Someone sent me a video on IG some weeks ago. Amazing video. I'm sure some of you might have seen it, but it's a video of babies, young infants, and they were in a studio, and they released snakes. Like I don't know whether they were pythons or so, and they released them on the floor. And the kids never haven't seen a python before because they were young, 6 months old. And they were playing with the snakes. And they told the parents, don't see anything, just watch them. And they were playing with the snakes and squeezing the bodies of the snakes and touching them as they were. There was no fear because they had not learned the fear of snakes. So we learn fear from authorities, from those we see as authorities, those around us. And so a lot of times for you to reconnect back to your purpose, you need to unlearn some things that you've learned over the years. And that's why the older you get, the harder it is to reconnect back to purpose. And that's why when I talk to people, I tell them, look, the hardest people to talk to, whenever someone sends me a message, I ask them how old they are. Once they tell me they are 40 and above, man, I just feel, man, it's going to be a task. When they tell me, oh, I'm 21, I'm like, okay, let's have this conversation. I'm excited. But once they start telling me 38, 39, 40, I just realized that let's just talk. But this person is going to go to factory reset tomorrow again. So the 40-year-olds that I talk to, they'll tell you, okay, man, thank you for this conversation. It makes a lot of sense. The next day they will come back again like if their brain was scrambled again. And they say, man, I still have this fear. And you see them 1 year later, they haven't moved much, even though they told you they understood it. But one thing I realized about the 20-year-old, the early 20-year-old, when you tell them something, they move with it very fast. And when you see them some months later, they've executed some of the things you've told them and they're in a better place. And that's because they are not so rigid. They have not accumulated so many fears. The 40-year-old has accumulated fear. Accumulated fear of I can't send my children to school. Accumulated fear of my children cannot eat. Accumulated fear of I will disappoint my wife. Accumulated fear of what my in-laws think. Accumulated fear of I will get fired. Accumulated fear of look at where my mates are. The younger you are, the less accumulated learned fear that you have. So depending on where you are, the first thing you will do if you want to reconnect back to your purpose is to unpack all these lessons, all these fatalistic lessons that you've learned over time from your parents, from your teachers, from your peers, from your girlfriend, your boyfriend, everybody has taught, from your children, your pastor. Everybody has taught you something to make you cautious and fearful. And so you need to unpack it. And unpacking it means you will need to start losing some friends. You need to start losing some relationships. You need to stop going to some churches that you've been going before where they've been putting pressure on you. You need to change your church. You need sometimes to quit your job. That's why it's hard for the 40-year-old to find clarity because they are hinged on these things. You understand? So, how do they change their church when the children have friends in that church and the wife is the head of a committee in the church? The 28-year-old can quit the church. It's just him that is quitting media department and is going to. But when your wife is head of women's department and your children, it's those attachments. It takes more courage to say this church is not giving, is not helping my confidence. I need to change it. This work is not helping my this relationship is not helping. But the 40-year when he has relationship, because the wives have become friends, the children have become friends, they do sleep over, they go and play and stuff like that. They're like, what do I tell the children that I'm no longer hanging around? They can't go to this person's house anymore. But the 23-year-old is just you. I don't go to his house anymore, and I just tell them I don't have time. You understand? So But you need to unlearn some things. Unless you are willing to cut some associations, you will never find the peace and the silence to hear what God is telling you. So that's very important. If you are going to reconnect back to yourself, you need to find out those influences that are making you fearful. Some of you need to call your parents less. Do you understand? Some of you, your parents, they are too attached to them and they are making you fearful, cautious. They're saying, yeah, don't do this. So have you thought about it? Have you considered it? Is it wise? I did this thing when I was your age. See what it did to me. They're not them. They're not you. You understand? Sometimes you need to call them less and ask their permission less. Do you understand? Those are things that build fear. So you must think of those conversations, those relationships that empower you, strengthen you, encourage you, and foster those relationships, and look at those relationships that make you fearful, make you scared, make you discouraged, make you cautious, and you might want to track back from those things. And that's how you find yourself. It's a long journey depending on how old you are, but there's no easy way to it. Once you've lost your way, you need to turn back and start walking back in the other direction.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, thank you. And I really want to thank everybody who has been here listening to this section tonight. Thank you for joining. And please share this with your audience, all right? Share this with your friends on Twitter, any social media platform you're using. Share the link with them. They should listen to this recording over and over again, please. Uh, you have actually answered virtually all my questions from the opening to this very one you just answered. So what I will do now, since we will be wrapping up by 9:30, I will open the floor to uh, the community so that anyone that has a question for you can request for the mic, and I'll bring the person up to ask you that question. So please, if you have a question for our speaker, request for the mic and I will add you up so that by 9:30 we'll be wrapping it up tonight. If you have a question, request for the mic. Okay, Ibrahim, um, I just invited you to speak now. Ibrahim, please accept the invite and speak. Have you seen my invite? Okay, before Ibrahim will come up, let me ask this question. There is a Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please give me an emoji if you can hear me. If I ask
Yeah,
this question.
we can hear you.
All right, sir. So I've been in a situation where I know exactly what to do and uh, what next to actually do. The right knowledge was there, and okay, guys, I can see your emoji. All right, the right knowledge was there, but when I applied what I've learned, it's as if nothing was um, nothing was adding up. It was as if nothing was actually adding up, in the sense that I didn't see any form of results. So my question is, when nothing is actually working, what should I do? Like I've done all I know, I've tried all I can, and it seems nothing is changing. In such a situation, what should I do?
All right. That's a good question. Um, when you're not seeing results, what should you do? Th- this is a very critical question here, and it's a basic flaw that most of us have as human beings. Is this: we are very result oriented, And it sounds like a good thing, but it's a shortcoming. It's a shortcoming. And I'll tell you why it's a shortcoming. You see, when you live your life in such a way where you have an outcome in mind, and that outcome is a rigid outcome. That means you are willing to entertain this, and but you are not willing to entertain anything else around it. So we live life like a math. So 1 plus 1, 2. If it's not 2, then there's something wrong. Life is not math. You understand? Life is not math. It's not. As much as we want it to be, it's not. So a lot of times we have a rigid outcome in our mind, and that's where fatigue comes from. That's where self-comparison comes from. So a lot of times when people tell you, I'm not getting any results, what they're telling you is, I'm not getting the results I want. They are two different things. And when you tell them to look closer, you realize they're actually getting results. It's not just the results they expected. And that's because we have a definition of what success is. You understand? We have a preconceived definition of what success is. So when you get married, and I'll use the example, you are married and you've been married 1, 2 years, 3 years, no children, then you begin to get worried because in your mind you feel you and your wife are having intercourse. And because you're having intercourse, it should be a child immediately. And when it does happen 2, 3 years, 4 years, you start getting worried, start panicking. And that's when people start making terrible decisions because they feel like there is something wrong. But there's nothing wrong. And you realize that some people get married 7 years, they have their first child. Some people 10 years, they have their first child. You understand? Some people get married and don't have children. But they get so depressed about it because there is an outcome in their mind of what marriage should be. There should be children. If there are no children, then that marriage is malfunctioning or malfunctional, which is not true. You understand? Marriage is beyond having children. You understand? But the people that have beautiful marriages cut it short because they have a rugged outcome in their mind. When I get married, and we will wait for 1 year, and after 1 year, we will have our child. That's what me and my wife had. When we first got married, me and my wife had this plan that we will have a year of honeymoon together. No children. No children. We don't want children yet. So we'll be together, learn to understand each other, just be in the house. Man, when we got married, 2 months later, my wife got pregnant. Kai. You know what? Because I didn't really hold on to that outcome, I was very happy. I was very happy. I'm going to be a dad. When I told my wife cried for days. And I was surprised. I said, why did you cry? I said, have you forgotten that what we said was 1 year with ourselves? I was like, man, I've forgotten that one. Oh. And she was like, that's what she wanted. You see, what what was happening to her? Was it bad? No. It was just not what it wasn't the rugged outcome that she wanted to her life. So a lot of times we have this rugged outcome and believe that we are not getting results or we're getting bad results. And that's even me and my wife having children. Some people just say, first year we'll have our first child, then we'll have a boy, we'll have a girl, then we have come on. You're just setting yourself up some more. Never hold on to rugged outcomes in life. And that's the problem with religious people, especially with the Christian faith. I'm not a Muslim, so I don't know how the Muslim um what their faith system is. I don't know, and I'm not any other religion, but the biggest shortcoming of today's Christian is there are too many rugged outcomes that we hold on to. And when we start having things work out in our lives or not work out in our life with that outcome, there's something wrong with us. So the Christian says, I cannot be sick, I cannot be poor, I cannot be barren, I cannot borrow, I cannot do this. There are too many, I cannot die young. When those things start happening, that's why the Christians have so many questions. Why would God allow? Why will God allow? Because there's too many rugged outcomes in your mind. You're not God. You understand? So we say a lot of judgmental things. Oh, you died young because you didn't listen to this. Oh, you are broke because you didn't do this. You see, and that's the story in Job where you say you don't know anything. You don't know anything. Sometimes you need to keep quiet and say, I do not know the outcome. I'm just a passenger on this bus, and I'm going to trust the driver. So when you tell me that there are no results, no, they're not just results you don't, they are results you don't want. So when you think things are not breaking through, The fact that you enter that thing thinking, I will take this step and then I'll become popular. I will take this step and then I'll become rich. I will take this step and then I'll get promoted. Doesn't happen. They say there are no results. No, you've forgotten that sometimes some results take time. You've taken it seem like nothing happened. But 5 years time, someone will take you back to, you remember when you did this thing 5 years ago? I listened to that thing and it made sense. As a matter of fact, I want you to be part of this based on something you forgot you did. You understand? So you don't know when you don't know what the outcome will be, and you don't know what the duration of the outcome should be. So when you're doing things and you are sure in your heart that you're convinced that this thing is it's a leading on your heart from God. Don't just tell God, I'm going to do it, but I don't know what the outcome will be, and the outcome is totally in your hands. So when you just do it and leave it. Do you understand? And let the reward be that you did it, not that what you wanted came out of it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I really hope it does. The reward is the doing, not the getting. Do you understand? So if I'm here to talk to you guys right now, my reward is that I got to talk tonight. If my thought is that after this talk, Donald will call me and ask for my account number, I'm going to disappoint myself because I do not control that outcome. But my reward right now is, God, thank you for the opportunity I had to talk tonight. That's as much as I can control. You understand? But every other thing, but if I not, like, I remember I did that just recently, and I'm telling you because I'm fallible too. But I did that recently. I was called to speak somewhere, and when I went to speak there, I spoke, but my mind there was like, this place, I know the kind of place it is, I know the kind of people that are coming there. So I went and I spoke there. And after I spoke there, I got very, very good reception. But deep in the recesses of my mind, I said, these people that invited me, there's no way I will come. And after I go, they wouldn't ask for something. You see this, see what I was talking about, that ambition, when you start doing passion as a hustle and you start fantasizing. That's what I started. I started fantasizing of how much they will pay me, whether they will give me envelope or whether they will call for my account detail data. And I did the thing, I went, nobody called me back. I went to start my car, nobody called, nobody followed me. I drove back home, nobody called me. One day later, nobody sent me text. Look, nobody called Jack. And then days later, I started feeling, Tola, you're a fool. They just used you. See all those people that came, and I'm sure they paid this person. I'm sure, and I started feeling bad. And I started thinking, am I just? And I gave them so much value. They were so excited. And they came up and said that was the best stuff I ever. And I got so much from this. And I like, you got so much, but then these guys didn't pay me. You see, I held up to a rugged outcome, and I was disappointed. And I remember one day I was just lying on my bed, and it just came to me that whoever told you you're going to get paid, who told you you're in this thing to get paid from it? The blessing is the doing of it. Do you understand? And at that point, I just said, wow. And I read a part in the Bible that says, as you freely received, freely give. And the Bible didn't mince words. I'm like, yes, you are meant to give these people. I just said, man, that's the blessing of it. I just meant to give them. But do you know what happened? Some days later, someone just called me and just said, Tola, I want to give you this. He just gave me stuff. He just gave me something. He gave me money, just sent money to me and said, I just felt you, and I had not done anything for him. Just I just thought of you and I just thought to give you this. I didn't have a rugged outcome for that. So I was mightily grateful for something I got from something I didn't put my attention to. But once I had a rugged outcome, I became entitled. And because I was entitled, I became bitter. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you are having results. It's not just the results you want at the time you want. But remember, you are a passenger. And as a passenger, you must be receptive of where the driver is taking you.
Thank you so much, sir. Wow. Um, I'm going to pass the mic over to Ibrahim. To All right, Ibrahim, you can ask your question, please. Ibrahim, the floor is yours. All right, maybe he can't
No, no,
hear.
no. He's
Okay, okay.
about to speak right now.
Hello,
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
All right, you can speak up.
good evening. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my speaker. It's been acting up. Sometimes I'll hear, then to just go off all of a sudden
It's all right.
again.
I can hear you now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry. So what I wanted to say was thank you very much for allowing me to speak. What I wanted to say was when I was back. Sorry, I'll have to give small story if that's not like very long, just for you to just understand my pains and where I'm coming from. Okay. So, sir, when I was in school, I used to have this. Someone that likes to do a little bit of hustle here and there, very much. Like I was going into printing then, but and other things like I fix my other colleague students system and all those things like that. But at some point, at some point, back in school, I was doing very well. But then I came home when I after the service when I came back home, my challenge began like you know like you said, the parents part that they put this belief that okay, you need to get a job, you need to get a paying job for you to do something, for you to have like an for you to make it or something. And that has never been my plan right from school because the environment I grew up in Kaduna then was the person was a businessman, so all I know is just do this to just make your money. The challenge I'm having now is that then I did some one or two businesses, then some of my printing too. Um, it went bad, like wrong. I was supposed to do some printing, then I had error, a lot of mistakes on it like that. Since then I went into poetry and some other small things like that just to make ends meet. But I came out, it came out like a loss for me. So since then I've been like put myself in this kind of a shell that I'm kind of afraid to come out. So, like you said the other time, if there is like I maybe like something that you can recommend, like a book or like a podcast that someone can be, maybe listen to once in a while, that will just because after this tonight, I know that okay, I'll actually have I will be able to do one or two for the next few days, but I'm still scared that I might go back to that myself of being afraid to take a step forward. I don't know. I didn't really because of this mic. I was not able to compose myself very well. But I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to raise, sir.
Yeah, I get your point totally. So basically, you're basically asking the same question that Donald asked. Somebody that's lost their way and wants to reconnect back to passion. And
Yes.
your story is. I can tell you that maybe 90% of the people here can see themselves in your story. They wanted to do something, their parents advised them, fear kicked in. Now they are so far from what it is. You see, so now you become so cautious. Um, but then you said I should recommend. I can recommend my podcast to you because that's what I focus
Okay.
on. My podcast is called ProUp Masterclass. Have you ever heard of my podcast before?
No, no, I've not, sir.
Okay. It's called ProUp Masterclass. PROUP Masterclass. If you just go to Spotify and search for Tola Alabi, my podcast would come up. So my podcast
Okay.
is meant to I focus a lot on helping people find clarity, find courage to be and to be themselves, to find what they are meant to do with their lives. Um, if there's a book I'm going to recommend to you, it's not a popular book. It's not a popular book in stores, but I think it's a good book. It's a book I read last year that was really really good. It's called The Good Life. It's called The Good Life. It's by a man called Charles Colson. Charles Colson. Charles Colson. Charles Colson. Charles Colson. He's dead now, but he was special advisor to one of the U.S. presidents, and he talked about how his life went from being high-profile executive in the White House to going to prison and then finding his ultimate calling for his life. It's a brilliant book because he talks about other people that ended up finding the calling for their lives and how they had to be courageous to find it, and how sometimes It is not the job that pays you the most that fulfills you the most. Most times, it's not the job that pays you the most that fulfills you the most. It's the job that empties you the most that fulfills you the most. So he talked about that in that book, and I think it's a good book, The Good Life. Um, I think that's the book I can think about right now. There might be other books that you might. There's another book by Robin Sharma. It's called "Who Will Cry When You Die." Who Will Cry When You Die? Robin Sharma. It's a good book. Um, I think that's a good book. So that's the podcast I will recommend. Those are the books I'll recommend for now. But you know what? A lot of it comes down to you. Even before you get these books or before you listen to a podcast, you just have to decide yourself right now that you are going to live your life. I don't know how old you are. That's not of essence right now. It's the decision to say you are going to live your life. Um, and then you must be courageous to know those voices that are helping you to to be confident, and those voices that are making you cautious. You need to be very, very careful, and you must be able to cut out voices that are making you more cautious than confident. And people might say caution is good, caution protects you. No, 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 it's not caution that protects you. It is freedom that protects you in the long run. But the thing is that, you see, I had a session with a physical session over the week last weekend with some people, and I was talking to them about the soul, and I would do a podcast on this for those of you that listen to my podcast and go into in depth into it. Um, the soul. You see, we all have this thing called the soul. So if I ask you what you are made up of, you will say mind, body, and soul. That was some people will say, but the mind and the soul are the same thing. Some people will say body, spirit, and soul. Yes, but nobody was born with a spirit. A spirit, we take on spirits as we move through life, but nobody is born with a spirit. We just take on spirit as we move through life. So some people have different spirits in them. Some people have 500 spirits. Some people have one. Do you understand? So spirits are not. They're not ruggedly. Everybody has a spirit because nobody stays void. But you're not born with it. You understand? The spirit will come and can depart. But that soul is factory fitted, just like your body, you were born with it. But we understand this body so well, but we know very little about the soul. So if I ask you about your body, if you describe yourself, you will describe your body. You say you're dark, you're tall, your hair is this, your height. You know our body so much that we even know our heart rate, our blood pressure, our blood group, our genotype. We know everything about our body. But that soul, if I tell you to describe your soul, you cannot describe your soul. A lot of people don't know the function of this thing that you were born with. So a lot of people just feel this soul is just an entity that I was given to take to heaven and to avoid hell. So when we think about soul, we know the soul is something that goes to heaven or goes to hell. So our aim with the soul is just to drag it to heaven and so that it doesn't go to hell. But there's more to the soul. The soul is useful even here on earth. Your soul is a compendium of knowledge. And so a lot of us that say, when someone tells you, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, the more a person is confused about matters, it shows the distance they have from their soul. The people that are closer to their soul, they hardly tell you they're confused about anything. They are clear about stuff because your soul has all the answers. The thing, Ibrahim, is that over time, people have separated you from your soul. And that's why we exercise caution. We exercise caution because we are not with our souls. The soul wants you to be free because the soul has all the answers. Every single answer is embedded in that soul. Your soul is like the manual that comes with your phone. And like the manual that comes with your phone or your laptop, a lot of us don't read it. We just do it. We just go straight to using the gadget. But you see, those that read the manual enjoy the gadget more. Because a lot of people are not connected with their soul. They are confused about what to do with their lives. Your soul is so important. And when I do a podcast, I'll tell you why the soul is so important. But then people have separated you from your soul. So you're asking questions, asking your parents, asking for validation, asking for approval, asking for guidance when the answer is within you. Do you understand? The right answer is within you. So I'll just tell you, you need to quieten the voices. You understand? You need to start quieting the voices and start building, even if it's that one friend that understands what it is Ibrahim does, and tell him, Ibrahim, keep doing this thing. Keep doing this thing. It might not pay you, but keep doing it. That's the friend you should keep. Oh, it doesn't matter if that's your only friend in the world. That's the friend. That is what you call a soulmate. That person that hears what your soul is saying. Because most people in the world will never hear it. So when you find that one person that hold on to them tightly. That person might be a stranger. That person is closer to you than your mother. You understand? Might be a stranger body wise, but soul wise, that person is closer to you than the person that carried you for 9 months. Don't lose that person. You understand? So that's what will give you the confidence to go into your life and do what you are meant to do with your life. You need to check your associations, check your conversations. Those things you and cut out those conversations that make you fearful at the end of the day, and then you start having new thoughts and start building more confidence at the end of the day. But read those books, listen to my podcast. It's very very. If I might say it, I can say it confidently myself that my podcast is very good. And I can say it confidently because I don't do my podcast. God leads me to my podcast. So I listen to my podcast too, and I know it's good. You understand? I know it's good not because I'm the one doing it, because I just realized I'm just a tool through which God does it. So listen to it, and you would find more clarity and more audacity at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. Ibrahim, I think your question has been answered. Please, if you are not listening to Uncle Tola's podcast from tonight, I will encourage you, or I'm going to suggest to you to start listening to his podcast on Spotify. All right. That's one place you can always find me. I listen to Uncle Tola's podcast. All right. And I can tell you the information there, they are not things you can find on the surface. All right. Those are not things you will find on the surface. They are not regular information. They are going to change everything about you. I can tell you. Uncle Tola is is a man of deep wisdom. He's a man of deep wisdom. All right. So that is that. Over to you, Akim Boboye. Sorry if I murdered your name. I will learn how to pronounce it when I grow up. Or let me just say, Mr. Akim, please. You can unmute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
King
welcome, sir.
Boboy. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Uncle Tola. And thank you for this session. And yeah, so again, let me quickly say I'm also a good benefactor of Pro Masterclass and also his mentoring group too. So, but my question is, so let me just make it snappy. So my question is about I would have wanted to ask it simply by saying that how do you find your purpose? But but again, while 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 Uncle Tola is speaking, I know he mentioned some statement like maybe you mentioned something like there are some people that may just seeing someone doing something, then they just say they want to do it or they just kind of like start adopting the activity and want to turn it into what they do too. But then my question is because for me, and I don't know, because that's how I mean what I do currently as a graphic designer. I just saw someone doing it and I feel like, oh, I like it, and then it became so. Could it be because what if I now find myself struggling? Could it be that I have been maybe I've emulated a wrong purpose, a wrong calling, so to speak. And also, if that is the case, that maybe I find myself in a wrong purpose or calling, and now I am now making money from it. For instance, is there a way to be able to listen to oneself again because it will be cloudy trying to find it again? Is there a way to listen to oneself and probably find it? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to maybe this question is looking similar to the previous question, but I'm trying to put it in a way. So I don't know whether my question is straightforward or if yes, that's my question.
Okay. All right. So I'll try to answer the much I understand from your question, though. Because you said something interesting there. Talked about what if you are struggling? Does that mean that you've gone the wrong direction and you're not you've chosen like you're not aligning with your passion? Now, and that's one thing we must learn to differentiate challenges and what we might call struggles. Challenges are a part of life. You understand? Challenges, life, constant. Everybody has challenges. It comes with life. Comes with life. You can't separate both of them. It's like trying to separate the egg from the yolk. You understand? They come together. You must go through that albumen before you get that yolk. You understand? So challenges and life are part of challenges are part of life. Challenges make us better. Challenges make us appreciate life. Challenges make us appreciate relationships. Now, when we do talk about struggles, however, struggles, you see, there are some words that we use loosely. So one of it is struggles, another one is depression. See, there's a difference between sadness and depression, you know, and so we must understand that you can have challenges, and I had challenges with being a graphic designer. I had challenges from my parents, challenges from my going to my finances, challenges, even with my emotions, challenges with clients. Those challenges were there. They're there. They're always challenges. But then when you talk about struggles, now the difference is with struggles, it now becomes a you trying to force something to happen as opposed to something trying to stop you from going forward. Do you understand? So I believe how you can know is that way you can never use money as an index to whether you're doing the right thing or not. Because success has nothing particularly to do with money. Success has to do with, as someone put it once, says when when you are winning, when you feel you are winning, and a win is whatever you call it. So if you now feel like, I remember when I was doing graphic design actively, I don't do it actively for commission anymore. I do it just as an expression. But then when I was doing active for commission, someone will give me a logo to do, and for some reason it will I'll have some I might have some challenges with doing the logo, some challenges in doing something, whether with the type or the image or the symbol or something, or the ideation just doesn't come, and I'll be like, man, what's going on? And then I'll just feel discouraged. Like, or I have some challenges with the client, and the client say, I don't like this work, it's rubbish, you did rubbish, it's not good enough, your work is not good enough, I've just wasted my money. Then I'll go back home and I'll just be discouraged that this graphic design is not for me. Look how this person just watched me. And I was like, just go back and sleep. But you know what happens? I'll wake up the next day and I'm good to go again. I'm like, okay, let's go and do this thing again. I'm back there. You see, just like a boxer, sometimes you get knocked out. Sometimes you get knocked out in round one in an embarrassing way. But then you're going in for a fight again next month, 2 months' time. Because you and that fighting boxing, you're 5 and 6. Do you understand what I'm saying? A struggle, on the other hand, is after that client has watched me, to get up from my bed the next day is hard. 2 weeks' time is still hard. I'm thinking of what the client said. 2 months' time, I'm still thinking, I'm so bad at this thing. This client has watched me. Oh, I'm so this. It's something you now carry along. It now becomes a burden. Then, because as I said, your soul wants you to be free. Anything that now becomes a burden that you now carry, that now becomes a struggle. And that's where you must check where you've missed it. Do you understand? Just like in marriage too, me and my wife, we have disagreements. But then in the end, I still look at her and like, this is the woman I love now. Do you understand? I love her. Even when we are fighting, I still say, man, this is the woman I love now. Where am I going to go outside this woman? But some people, they're not fighting with their wife, but they wake up every morning and like, what was I drinking when I married this person? I'm not attracted. I don't like her. When she serves you food, you don't like the food. You're not just the person just irritating you. You're now forcing yourself. Not like she had done anything. What did she do? She didn't do anything, but I just can't stand her. That's a struggle. Then you must go back to say, where did things go wrong? That's not the person you're meant to marry. That person you're meant to marry might irritate you for a while, but then after a while your eyes will clear, then you see the love again. But that person that you're not meant to be with, even when they're trying to be sweet, is irritating you. That's a struggle. So you see, you must be able to identify when your career becomes a struggle and when you just have challenges, because challenges will come and go. Struggles stick. They stick till you amputate them. That's the problem. Struggles, they can stick. That's why a struggling designer. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing to be a struggling designer, but you can be a designer going through a challenging phase. Those are two different things. Do you understand? And your challenging phase can be 1 year, can be 2 years. Do you understand? But struggling, I've seen people that struggle even when they are making money from their business. So you must be clear enough to be able to say, am I struggling with this thing? Even if I'm not making money on the outside, does it still make me happy on the inside? Is there still a joy I get when I'm doing this thing? Or am I forcing it? Do you understand? Am I forcing it? And if you're forcing it, then you must be courageous enough to let it go. If you're in a relationship, you're forcing it with the person, you must be courageous enough to say, you know what, I'm forcing this thing, I'm not feeling this thing anymore. Before you now go and marry the person. You understand? So challenges and struggles, two different things. And I'm not sure if I'm even using the right word as struggle, but let's just put it struggle. But challenges part of life, struggles on the other hand, I don't think so. Struggles happen when a lot of times we miss our way, we make mistakes, we make wrong decisions. But challenges can happen if you are making the best decision. Sometimes you make a good decision and you are still having challenges. You did the right thing, but it still puts you in a place of challenge. That happens a lot. But struggles are indicators of something that you missed somewhere. So when someone tells you they are struggling with a habit, whether pornography or stuff, they went off course by watching something they shouldn't have watched. They must go back to what they are watching that is making them struggle with pornography or whatever sexual act it is they are struggling with. But challenge is different. The challenge of challenge of you go out, you see somebody, oh, this person you found person attract. That's a challenge. That happens to everybody. You must learn to discipline yourself in the midst of that challenge. Whether you're married or not, you still see people that seem attractive to you. That's a challenge you have to surmount in marriage. Do you understand what I'm saying? But struggling with sexual habits, that's a struggle. You must go back to where you missed it and amputate that, operate on that. You understand? Or else you stick with you for the rest of your life and make your life miserable. Struggles make your life miserable. Challenges make you stronger. When, as a married person, you can look at the person and look away, you see that it develops your self discipline, self control at the end of the day. But struggles just make you weaker and make you hate yourself at the end of the day. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you very much. It does. And thank you for everything. Th-
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I don't really know how to start thanking you. I don't know how to speak Yoruba, or I would have greeted you properly in Yoruba because that's your dialect. Thank you so much, sir. And to everyone who came out tonight to listen to this, thank you so much. Please do us a favor to share this with your audience, your followers, and your friends. All right. This will be a blessing to
I
someone.
don't know. Can I just say?
This will,
I know other people might have
okay,
questions
sir.
right now. I have a Telegram group.
Okay.
If you want to, I
Please,
think it's in my bio. I don't know. It's still in my bio. It's in my ex.
your
No,
DM.
yeah, I think it's my ex bio itself. You can see it. I think it's there. So the link to my Telegram group, if you still have questions that you can't ask tonight, you can go there and join the group, and you can always ask questions, and I'll make out time to answer on that platform.
All right, sir. So if you still have questions you want to ask Uncle Tola, go to his bio, click on the Telegram link. There is a link on his bio. You can join his Telegram channel. All right. You can ask any question that is bothering you. You want to find answers to. Join his Telegram channel. I'm also uh, following him on Telegram. All right. So join the Telegram channel. Drop your questions, and he's going to answer you. So thank you guys for coming out tonight. We are really grateful for having you here again, even after a period of 6 months plus. All right. So I want you to do something tonight. The next speaker you want us to bring to this community, I want you to tag the person in the comment sections. All right. In the comment sections of this meeting. Anyone you want us to bring on board, the next speaker you want to hear speak in this community, please tag the person, and we'll do our best to bring the person to this community to speak to us. I want all of us to actually thank Uncle Tola Alabi tonight for finding us, how will I say it, worthy, because this is a privilege to always have him, a family man, being up tonight. So, sir, we are sending special greetings to mommy. Thank her for us for releasing you. This is almost 10 p.m. I want you to thank her for us. It's not really easy. Thank her for letting you do this and for imparting us. Thank you so much. We are also sending our love to your kids. Thank them also for releasing you also. You are supposed to be having daddy's time out with them this evening, telling them stories, bedtime stories, and all that. But you came here to actually impart us. Thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful. Thank you. Thanks to every one of you who came out tonight. And thanks to everyone who is going to listen to this recording. All right. So this recording will also be available on Uncle Tola's Spotify podcast. You can still listen to it there. And also you can still listen to it on X. All right. So do well to follow us on X, and we'll follow you right back. Thank you guys. God bless you. So we'll always be doing this 2 times every month, 2 Sundays every month. So the next meeting will be next month, all right? Because June is today is 23rd, and we just have 7 days. So the next meeting will be July, all right? That should be first Sunday of July or second Sunday of July. So we'll be having another section. So thank you guys. Thank you. Like I said, if you have any question you want to ask Uncle Tola, join his Telegram channel. All right. So have a good night's rest and have a great week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you guys. Bye bye.